Hi, everybody. R. Scott Williams here. Everybody knows that Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away last weekend. Everybody who lives in the D.C. region knows that in addition to everything else that she was also the biggest supporter of the performing arts in the entire government. And she didn't just give lip service, she actually showed up. She would work all day, Supreme Courting, and then at night she went to the theater. And if you've been around the region's stages long enough, it's really likely that you performed in front of Ruth Bader Ginsburg at some point or another. And I am no exception. The first time that I performed in front of her, I don't remember it. It was December of 2000, and there was an annual holiday show called Christmas at the Old Bull and Bush, which was produced by the Interact Theater Company, but was housed at Arena Stage in their basement space, which isn't even there anymore. And this was a show that the Ginsbergs went to every year. They always bought a table. It was an English pub setting, and they came every year. So in December of 2000, God, 20 years ago, I was in the show playing the chairman, who acts as the master of ceremonies and interacts with the audience and tells bad jokes and sings silly songs and that kind of thing. Well, so apparently the Ginsbergs saw me in Christmas at the Old Bull and Bush, but I don't remember the night they were there. I very definitely remember the second time that I performed for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It was June of 2001, and Martin Ginsberg was turning 70. And his wife wanted to surprise him with a birthday dinner at the Supreme Court. Yeah. That building that has the very famous courtroom and all the offices and everything in order for the Supreme Court to function also has facilities for the Supremes to party on without leaving the building, if they so choose. So this dinner was going to happen in their banquet hall, and Justice Ginsburg asked Katie Fly, who was the artistic director of Interact Theater, to devise the entertainment for that evening. And they were calling it a medley for Marty. And it was to contain a bunch of highlights from Gilbert and Sullivan, because the Ginsbergs loved Gilbert and Sullivan, and Martin Ginsberg really loved Gilbert and Sullivan. So Katie asked, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us if we would be involved, and of course I was thrilled to do it. And then I was pretty honored to find out that I would be singing a song that was specifically asked for by Justice Ginsburg. And it turns out that the Ginsbergs had a very famous short little quote that became a catchphrase in their marriage that they bandied back and forth to each other for the entire 55 years of their marriage. And it came from a song from the Pirates of Penzance. In the song, the police are getting ready and making a whole fuss about the fact that they are leaving to go out and capture the pirates. And there's a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, and a lot of posturing as they sing, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go. And the Major General keeps interjecting with things like, but you're still here. We go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go. Mabel, they're still here. And the Ginsbergs' favorite interjection, which became one of their catchphrases, was, they go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go, we go. Yes, but you don't go. So I was pretty honored to be asked to sing that. So we had, 2 or 3 rehearsals only for this thing. And then on the Saturday afternoon, we went to the Supreme Court into the banquet hall to figure out how to block the thing, because there was no stage. There was no performing space at all. It was a banquet hall with about a dozen big round tables where the guests were going to sit and dine. So we spent the afternoon figuring out how we were going to weave our way in between the tables and whatnot. We were to perform after this dinner, to which we were not invited. Yeah. But that was okay, because Justice Ginsburg sent us around the corner to have dinner at Two Quail, which at the time was a venerable Capitol Hill restaurant, very famous. kind of prestigious and pretty expensive, and she footed the bill. But I remember taking 2 bites of my steak and thinking, I can't eat any more of this because I was too nervous. So I wrapped it up and took it home. Thank you very much. This was June of 2001, so this was almost exactly 3 months before 9/11. So the security was quite different at the Supreme Court than it is now. But still, as we were coming and going, well, let me just tell you, you haven't lived until you've been frisked by the Secret Service. But we were also treated to a private tour of the facility. So we saw the big courtroom that you always see on TV, but we also saw this deliberation room, which was a big conference room with books from ceiling to floor, where the 9 justices would retire and close the door and then debate the cases that were before them. And no one else was allowed in the room while they were debating. There was no secretary or no stenographer or anybody taking notes. The judges took their own notes. And when they were finished deliberating, they had to hand their notes over to be destroyed. I really liked that. I don't know how they do it now because I'm sure they take notes on a laptop, but back then they took notes on paper. So we were put in a room that was right next to the banquet hall, which we used as a little green room. And suddenly the door between the banquet hall and the green room opened, and Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsberg came into the room. And I happened to be the closest actor to her, and she may have recognized me from playing the MC in the show 6 months ago, and may have thought that I was going to act as the MC for this show, which I was not. But she came right over to me, and she looked up at me, because, she was, and looked up at me, and she said, "We're ready." Like they'd been waiting for 20 minutes and no one had come in. So I went, "Katie?" And every head in the room snapped to attention, and a couple of the men stood up, and I said, "Justice Ginsburg says she's ready." So we went in, and when we came to "Yes, but you don't," go, the table where the Ginsburgs were sitting, which I assume had their family and their most intimate friends, absolutely erupted in the middle of the song. They laughter and shouting, and somebody stood up and they were clapping, and somebody raised a toast, and not to me. They were celebrating the Ginsburgs and acknowledging their marriage and their love for each other and their commitment to each other, which was very apparent when you watch them together. Their marriage must have been the envy of every marriage in D.C. Martin Ginsberg died about 10 years ago, and the Chief Justice soldiered on without him. I am very, very glad to have that memory of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Yes, but you don't go.